If you're like a lot of people right now, you may have a new job and you could find yourself wondering, what if I fail? You're not alone. There are a lot of people who have changed jobs. And when you start a new job, there's this anxiety about whether you can succeed in it. And if you're like many, many women in STEM that I've talked to, you hold yourself to high expectations. In fact, it's often unrealistic standards. Hi, I'm Carol Doherty. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about what to do if you find yourself worried that you're going to fail in your new job. There's been so much movement in the industry lately that there's a good chance you are in a new job or will soon be in a new job. And if so, congratulations. It's an exciting time, but it's also a time that is rife with anxiety and nerves and fear. So let's talk about what to do if you start wondering, am I going to fail? You're not alone. It happens. I've had many clients who I've talked to about this. I've suffered it myself. Oh no, what have I gotten myself into? It's okay. And I want to give you my favorite hacks to stop that cycle of negativity and replace it with something much more positive. All right, let's dive in. First, when you start wondering, oh no, what if I'm going to fail? What have I done? Stop a minute and step back and remember, what were you thinking when you applied for that job? When you looked at the job, what made you say, I can do this? And then how did you sell yourself to the hiring manager? You believed in yourself when you applied. Go back and remember what it was you saw that excited you about the job and why you thought you could nail it. Remember that. If you need to, write it down so you can go back and revisit that. That's why you wanted this job. You believed you could do it when you applied for it. So why? You didn't think, well, I'll apply for this, but I'm sure I'm going to fail. No, you applied because you said, I can do this. And what I've seen studies of in personal experience, women are more likely to feel like they have to check off close to 100% of the requirements before they'll apply for a job, while men need about 80%. So you thought you could do it. So what was it that made you feel that way? Remember it, capture it, write it down, review it regularly. Next, why did the hiring manager hire you? They didn't hire you because you were okay or close enough. There are too many applicants out there. Too many people are looking for new jobs. And so they probably had a bunch of people to look at, but they picked you. They hired you. They wanted you. Why did they want you? Go back over your interviews and what did you glean from that about why they liked you, what they saw in you that they believed you would succeed. Hiring manager is not going to hire somebody who they think is going to fail. So what did they see? And as you've gotten started, what feedback have you gotten that tells you you're doing good? I've talked to clients who say, I'm failing, I'm not doing anything right. And I say, okay, so what feedback have you gotten from your boss? And the boss is telling them that she's doing fantastic. He loved how she handled this. They loved how she dealt with this problem that popped up when she was brand new. They liked the direction she was taking the team. They liked how quick she integrated into the group and started contributing. All kinds of positive information, and yet the clients were saying, but I'm failing. Are you? Only to yourself. And that's back to that unrealistically high expectations we set on ourselves. So look at why your boss hired you and what they're telling you about how you're doing. Use that external information to challenge your internal thoughts. You might find your thoughts are wrong. Now, the next hack is going to seem a little weird. Bear with me. What I want you to do is stop and think about what's the worst thing that could happen if you fail. You're probably wondering, Carol, you've lost your mind. But really, we're awfulizing our situation. We're saying we're failing. We're never going to succeed. It's awful. Okay, so stop and think about what's the worst thing that could happen if you fail. You might get fired. Okay, that's awful. You might get transferred to another position, moved somewhere else, demoted. That's not good. You might get stuck where you are and not be able to advance, so you feel like you have to quit to get where you want to go. That's not necessarily great either. But then think about what are those and what does that mean for you? If you get fired, what happens? What would you do? Create kind of this plan. What would that mean for your family? And it may be that you are the primary breadwinner. You have the biggest salary. You are really invested in this. But what would happen if you got fired? Step back and be real. Get the emotions out of it. What would happen if you get fired? And you might say, Carol, you don't understand. I do. My last corporate role, my position was eliminated because they didn't see value in what I did. No, they didn't fire me. They laid me off, but they got rid of my job because they saw no value in what I was doing. I felt like a failure. So I do understand. Was that the worst thing that could happen to me? No, it was a blow to my ego. Absolutely. But I picked myself up and figured out where did I want to be, and I started doing that. So realize that the worst case might not be as bad as you think it is. If you get fired, you might be able to go someplace that will value what you're doing, where you're more comfortable, where you're a better fit. If they move you out to another job, you know what? It may not have been you. It may be the company failed you, and you'll be a better fit somewhere else within the organization. I've seen that a lot. Or maybe you decide, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I've got to quit. Again, you have an opportunity to go find a better place. Is it really the end of the world? Probably not. So stop and get the emotion out of it and look at it. And then the last hack, and this one is the biggie. Take some time to figure out what are your road signs. What are the red flags that says, hey, I'm starting to really struggle. I need help. And it's okay to get help. And then figure out what help you might need. Come up with a plan in advance. Right now, if you're starting to worry, what if I fail? Create a plan for how you're going to have a self-intervention and get the help you need. Do you need to know new tech skills? Where do you find those? Do you need to have a better understanding of the organization, the business, what they do, what's important? Can you find a mentor or a buddy that can help introduce you to the organization and what matters? Maybe you need to find a better way to connect to your team. Schedule some one-on-ones. Even if you're just a peer-to-peer, go to lunch, have coffee, do something, and get to know the people around you. If you're a boss, definitely get to know your team, what makes them tick, what matters, who they are, and if you're the boss, what are they looking for from you? And then you can start figuring out what to do. Get the help. If you need a coach, go hire a coach. Ask your company to give you a coach. They just might, depending on where you are. So you're asking yourself, what if I fail? Look at why you wanted the job, why you were hired, what's really the worst case if you do fail, and then create a plan for how to prevent that failure by creating an intervention. And then start asking yourself, and what if I succeed? We don't ask ourselves that enough. So when you find yourself saying, what if I fail? Stop. Ask yourself instead. You hear yourself going, but what if I fail? Oh, I'm failing. Okay. And what if I succeed? How do I do that? Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, how do I succeed? It's amazing what that mindset shift will do for your confidence and your capabilities. If you found this helpful, please like, share, comment, subscribe below. You can also find me on Instagram at Carol S. Doherty for more tips and tricks on how to survive your career in STEM so that you're thriving, not just surviving. Have a great day.